bottom line is my civil rights have been violated. They treat me like I'm not even a U.S. citizen. Okay, let me tell you something. My grandfather fought in World War II. My father was a Coast Guard during the Vietnam War. My little sister right now is getting ready to retire from the Navy after 20 years. You're going to tell me that you could just throw me in prison like I'm not even a U.S. citizen? Is this how you respect the sacrifice of my family? Okay, my mother working for the state. I got cousins who in the military, who've been in the military. I got uncle who died during the Vietnam War. Okay, I got other uncles who've been in the military. You know what I'm saying? I come basically, I'm the only one who's been in this type of situation. Not to say that, you know what I'm saying, I'm not responsible for my own actions to a large extent when it comes down to other things. But particularly, this case right here is what I'm supposed to be judged by. Okay? Now, if you allow this to happen, you're destroying the fabric of this country, because this country is based on advancement, growth, and the belief that we are moving towards something that's better for us as a whole. Okay? Right now, all I'm witnessing is people who's privileged. You know what I'm saying? And they just shitting all over people from ghetto society, urban communities and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they don't treat them the same in these suburban and rural areas. They don't, they go hunting in the concrete jungle. They think it's a safari or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, yo, listen, man. 50, I don't know if you remember, but you know what I'm saying, Mutt introduced us. We worked out together in the park before over there in Rochdale, you know what I'm saying, before you grew up and all that type of stuff happened, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not saying we was close or nothing, but this is something, you know what I'm saying, I'm from the hood, you from the hood. I'm talking about Nas, you know, I don't know if you remember me, we done chilled 2 times with Jazz introduced us, and you know what I'm saying, we were smoking. Matter of fact, you the one who introduced me to DMX when I was making that belly, you know what I'm saying, we rolled up on y'all over there at the barbershop scene. Okay, AZ, you already, you know what I'm saying, same. Okay, Mr. Cheeks, you already know we go back to the 80s, back when the Lost Boys was just a little ragtag street gang of high school kids, you know what I'm saying, and y'all was having me do dumb shit, you know what I'm saying, because I wanted to be down. Okay, we're talking about 88, 89, you know, I became a man and do my thing after that, you know what I'm saying. But anyway, you know what I'm saying, check it out. It's like this. Let me show you right here. Boom. Okay, about the 911 calls. Okay, in your letter you request a transcript of the 911 calls. Okay, I never received them from the state, so I do not have it to provide to you. Okay, this is what my public defender Catherine Chin said. Okay, now during the trial, let me tell you something. They did some tricky stuff with the jury instructions. I gotta break this down. Okay, for one, they had a supervising public defender who brought up what they call necessity instructions, the rest of necessity instructions. See, the standing ground law says anyone who is not engaged in an unlawful activity and who is attacked in any place where he or she has the right to be has no duty to retreat and has the right to stand his or her ground and meet force with force, including deadly force, if he or she reasonably believes it is necessary to do so to prevent death or great bodily harm to himself or herself or another, or to prevent the commission of a forcible felony. That means I don't have to be hurt. I can prevent death or great bodily harm. You can see I'm a victim of great bodily harm. Okay, so I have every right to stand my ground and fight. Okay, or a commission of a forcible felony. Okay, now the necessity instruction will go to somebody. Let's say you get caught selling a bunch of bricks, but you say, hey, the cartel got my family hostage and made me do this. Okay, so now you did sell the bricks, you did commit the crime, but you have a greater cause behind it, and the jury could find you not guilty based on acting out of duress and necessity. But in that, it says that the crime was committed. In the necessity instruction, which this public defender requested, it said the second degree murder had to be committed out of necessity. Okay, in the standing ground law, like I just said, it says if he or she reasonably believes it is necessary. So the jury's going to interpret that to say this is going to decide whether or not it was necessary. Hold on, what's up? Good. Reasonably believes it is necessary. So they're going to interpret it as this describing what's necessary. But it says that second degree murder was committed for a fact. Self-defense is never a crime. Okay, justifiable homicide, excusable homicide, self-defense. These are never a crime. Okay, you got different levels of crime. You got manslaughter, second degree murder, first degree murder. You see what I'm saying? These type of things. So they you know what I'm saying, told the jury that I was guilty, and then if you ask if the second degree murder was committed, the jury's of course going to say yes. Also, there's another jury instruction that they did. It's called, it's the second half of the forcible felony instruction, and it says, if he initially provoked the use of force against himself, then I would lose the right to defend myself, and I have to retreat first. Okay. Now, initially provoke under layman's terms could be just, hey, like they said in that. Oh, I don't need nobody to back me up. The girl said, hey, don't provoke them. You know what I'm saying? These are not things that are criminal acts which allow them. Okay. And when they refer to that instruction, they're going to say it's an initial aggressive instruction. In the book, it says it's an initially aggressive instruction, and then it says if initially provoked. Bam. Okay. When they put it in the actual instruction, it says initially provoked and says nothing about initial aggressive. So the jury's not going to interpret it as an initial aggressive. They're just going to say that provoking it means that he doesn't have the right to stand his ground. Okay. Now the prosecutor made up a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, and accepted perjury testimony and people switching up and stuff like that. Man, in the closing argument, didn't even stick to anything that the witnesses said. She didn't go with nothing that they said. She went on her own thing and made up her own theory. You'll be able to see this if you check it out. I go through a lot of this stuff, man. Okay, another thing is there's extra comma. All of these things, okay, this extra comma in the jury instruction has been, in standing ground law, has said that the courts have decided that it causes the jury to believe that you don't have a right to defend yourself against non-deadly force. Okay, so if this extra comma causes that, so they decided it's fundamental error. I have that in my jury instructions also. Also, I have what they call a Montgomery instruction. Okay, that extra comma is Talley versus State, Talley versus State. Montgomery is about the manslaughter instruction. In the manslaughter instruction, it says, hey, that you have to find that he intended this, that, and the other. This is an old one. They changed it in 2009, 2010. They found out that it takes away the jury's right to find you guilty of manslaughter and instead causes them to find you guilty of second-degree murder, because second-degree murder has a lesser element, saying that it doesn't have to have intent. Okay, so this is supposed to be the lesser included offense, but it ends up being on the same level as first-degree murder as far as being able to find you guilty of it. So it leaves the jury no choice but to find you guilty of second-degree murder. So they say that's fundamental error. I thought they didn't run it retroactive, but if you fit, your case was pending in that time period, okay, then you was entitled to that relief. I fall in a loophole by 8 days because Florida does not consider the case to be closed until they issue the mandate. So I'm entitled to a new trial based on that. They won't allow me to get that either. Okay, they're throwing everything out the courts. Okay, check it out. This is where I got proof that the public defender on direct appeal, when I fired, he says right here, bro. Okay, one issue you want to raise, unsigned file information. You're talking about that charge information I showed you. So this lets you know that before he mailed it to me and it was signed, that he knew it was an issue. He recognizes it as an issue. He would not recognize it as an issue if the one that he had was actually signed. He would just say, nah, man, what you have is not official, but we have the sign. Okay, this information has been discussed in person with our elected public defender, Mr. James Purdy, who is in agreement that such an unpreserved error cannot be raised on direct appeal. Now, that's kind of crazy because of the simple fact that I filed a state Hague without his permission, without him knowing, and the judge sent and denied me and said it was an issue for direct appeal. I did that with a Judge Wright out of the 14th Judicial Circuit out of Jackson County. Okay, that was back then. Okay, also here, he talks about the judge that I had. He said, without any objection at the trial to try and advance the argument that the court committed fundamental error by doing what was requested is simply an attempt to put Judge Money in a no-win position. I'm doing life, and you're talking about putting the judge in a no-win position because I want to argue that the necessity instructions was fundamental error. Okay? It allows me to be convicted of a crime that does not exist. If I'm standing my ground, if I'm acting in self-defense, it's a crime that does not exist. You understand what I'm saying? You're allowing me to be convicted of a crime that never occurred, okay, or a crime that does not exist by record, okay? Now check this out. Let me show you what I'm being held on right here in Florida Department of Corrections. This is my records. These are the records. I'm not even supposed to be here, man. Look at this. What is this? It's blacked out. This is the records. Why do you have things blacked out? This is called being redacted. That means it's no good anymore. It's trash, okay? Look at all of these papers. Man, that's that's blacked out. They've been blacked out. I got papers where they're a little bit lighter where you can see what it's saying, okay? Man, you can see what it's saying, but you can see they redacted these papers, man. They redacted these papers, man. They redacted these papers. Okay, I'm here on nothing, man. I'm here on trash, man. And they're keeping me here and they're not doing anything about it. And no matter what I've done, they're acting as if they have some type of, they're using misdirection to overcome and misstandards of law. They're using fraud to lock me, to keep me here. And they know it's going to take me 2 years to come back to court with this argument because I got to be denied, appeal it, file it again, this, that, and the other. And time is going by. I'm getting older and older. Look at this, man. I'm going to keep on going. All the sentencing papers, I'm almost finished. Let me show you something, okay? Right here, where we at? Where we at? I'm gonna skip to the final judgment. They put this X in here. That's not there. This is actually part of the record, okay? And there's an X on my final judgment. They done crossed it out, man. Okay, this right here, my commitment papers to the Department of Correction. Okay, this is redacted, man. You don't do this to people's paperwork. Nobody's is in prison on that type of paperwork in this country. Okay, so I'm telling you right now, release me, man. Release me, man. Release me. Make these motherfuckers release me, man. Don't just do it for me. Do it for the people. Do it for you. Do it for your family. Do it for your future. This is about my kids. I don't care what they do to me right now. This is about my grandkids, okay? I want them to get the money from this lawsuit, okay? I don't need all this fucking money, but release me, man. Release me, man. Release me, man.